Welcome back, everybody, to another story time with me. And today we got Moosehead. Moosehead beer. It's from Canada. Good beer. Got my M&M beer glass. All right. Now today's story takes place many, many years ago, before I even got married. And you ever have the person like you really like, but they only keep you around for one reason, and that's money? Well, where I lived, my neighbors across the street. We basically grew up knowing each other all those years and stuff. Well, I became really close to her sister, the youngest sister, and we were like really good friends. We did a lot together and everything, and I was really interested in her, and we did a lot. I did a lot for her. A lot for her. Cook breakfast. She wanted this done. I cooked it for her. She wanted this. You want to go to this place? I'd take her to that place. And just really didn't. We'd go jogging, and she would she would flirt and then complain about guys hanging on her if she flirting. Like she'd be walking around the mall and she'd come to me crying that people were flirting with her. And I was like, well, if you flirt with, or if they stalk her, I was like, well, if you flirt with guys, that's what you're going to get. Idiot. I got along great with her parents and her two older sisters. They were fantastic. Her one sister ended up was a model, and she was Bride magazine, a bunch of different magazines. She was just flat out just beautiful. Well, this chick just basically, basically used me for money. Well, I remember one time she had her friend, she told me that her friend was pregnant and she wanted an abortion and it was going to cost her $400. What'd I do? Here's $400. If it ever happened, it probably didn't. It probably never even happened. She probably wasn't even pregnant. I don't even know. I never questioned her or anything. I just gave her the money. This is the same chick that tried to make me believe that she was a vampire. Anyways, I rings, all kinds of stuff for her. And I remember one time where I worked at a hardware store, Stamboss. It was like a local store. They had a few stores here and there. And my boss now was really funny because I brought him up Stamboss. And he goes, oh, really? Well, you worked there? He goes, yeah. I go, yeah. And he goes, what store was it? And I told him, and he goes, my dad used to manage that store. His dad, my boss now, his dad used to manage the store before I got there, right before I got there. Small world. So, anyways, I got paid that Friday, and we got into some argument or something like that. And I says, well, I'm going to the mall. I don't care. And I went to the mall, and sure as hell, there she is, ready to spend my paycheck. Let's go shopping. Let's buy me clothes. Let's buy me this. Let's buy me that. I used to give her rides all the time and everything. Never got me anywhere. Till I got kicked out of the house, and I had no place to go, and a guy who owned a trucking company, his family owned a trucking company, took me in. Then I stayed with my sister for about 5 weeks until I got an apartment. And when I got my apartment, I don't know how it happened, but somehow I probably gave it to her, my phone number. And I'm thinking this really pissed her off because I was no longer able to see her because I didn't have a car. I used to walk to work. So she wasn't able to get this, So I think she was pissed, because she was no longer getting this. So basically, I remember one time when I got engaged after I moved out and everything. I got engaged, And actually, my wife, I can tell you exactly what she wore. She had a red bandana in her hair, holding her hair. She had a white shirt, had blue jeans, had like hearts on her pockets and stuff. She came over to my apartment for the first time, and well, actually, that girl that used me, her sister, got us together. He says, "Hey, I want you to meet somebody." And she called me from her work, or her friend, the user's sister called me from work and put me up with my wife and started talking and stuff. And then she came into my apartment and with her friend, and we were talking and stuff. And lo and behold, I think it was like 3 months I proposed, and it probably less than that. I proposed to her. She said yes, apparently, and so we were engaged. So I called my fiance and I was like, "Hey, her mom answered the phone because she lived at home. She says, no, she went to the store to look for an outfit for her niece, and it was at that store that this, was working at the time." So I was like, "Oh, I don't care." So I go in and I'm looking around for my fiance, and I'm sitting there looking around for her, and I seen that girl, and I steered clear of her. Well, then I found her, my fiance. I found her. We started talking and stuff, and he says, "Hey, okay." And this girl comes up to us and starts confronting us. "You stay away from my parents. You stay away from my sister," and all this other stuff, making a big scene, And I was like, and she goes, he proposed to me, and my fiance goes, "Yeah, I know." "Oh, you know?" Yeah, it didn't bother her. She thought she was going to throw something in there that was going to break us up. No, it didn't work. Well, so lo and behold, I got kind of pissed off. I went to her manager. I turned her in. I said, "There's no reason for this." It was like 7 years went by since I even had anything to do with this chick, and she's accosting us, yelling at us in a store where she works. Man, I don't know if she ever got in trouble or whatever, but the manager told her. Yep, told us. So I took care of it. Okay, good. So we got married, and it was like 3 days. Then we got married. I got a phone call, and it was from an ex-girlfriend. We'll say Jennifer. We'll call her Jennifer because that's her name, Jennifer. And my wife picked up the phone, answered it, and gave me the phone. I was like talking to her for about 2 or 3 minutes. She asked me was that your sister? I was like, no. So I don't know how she got my phone number. I'm thinking that user gave her my phone number. So she called, and I was like, no, that was my wife. I'm married now. She goes, "You're married?" I was like, "Yeah." So we talked for a little bit, and we hung up. I was like, "I'll talk to you. I'll see you later." Yeah. Innocent phone call, no problem. My wife is understanding. Okay. Calls back again and asks the same thing. Was that your sister? I was like, "No, that's my wife." Finally, it got in her head, and I'm thinking that user gave her that phone number and was mad at me trying to break our marriage up, So I was like, it's amazing the length of people will go to try to break your marriage up. It's amazing. So anyways, I was like, my gosh. So years go down the road, and that user's sister, they bought my house that I grew up in. Well, actually, I had an old video. An old video is my paranormal experience was at her house on the other street in the same neighborhood. This is that girl, but they sold that house. They moved out of that house, and they bought my house that I grew up in. Well, her husband was birthday. It was his birthday. So I was like, "Hey, I'll stop over." She invited us to stop over. So my son was probably like 3 at the time. And I stopped over, and we're all having a good time. We're drinking beer and, talking and stuff. And all my cousins were there, and people from the neighborhood were there. It was great to see these people. I haven't seen these people 20 years, probably longer than that. Anyways, so the user now was across the street at her parents' house, all right, with her husband. And I guess she found out that I was there, so I went over, I guess, I was like, well, let me go over and talk. I'll be nice. I go over and talk to her. I'm sitting and talking to her and introducing me to her husband. Her husband's a nice guy, you know? Talking to her. And I was like, all right, well, you can send me, I'll give her my email address. We'll send some jokes or something back and forth. Well, it was on AOL Instant Messenger at this time. Where you get the instant message, the little thing would pop up and you'd start talking and stuff. Well, I'm sitting there and I mind my own business, and I get an email from her. And I say, hey, how are you? And this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And then I replied, and blah, blah, blah. And she sent another email back and sits there and tell me, oh, we should go jogging in a park. There's a Howland Park that's close by, next city over. Oh, we should go jogging there. I'll meet you there and stuff like this. I like this kind of sex. 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 She knows I'm married, but she does this. She's still trying to, I was like, that's it, gone. Tried to instant message me a couple of times. It might have been her husband. I don't know. Oh, and when in that email, she said, oh, I had a breast reduction. I had my nipples moved. Who talks like that? Who brings that up? So anyways, she ended up divorcing that guy and took her, when she was in school, she went from school to school to school to school. She apparently was an issue at these schools. Because how many schools do you go to that you get kicked out of? Well, now, she got married and divorced that guy. She took her mother's maiden name. Why? Dude, you must have caused a lot of problems. So anyways, years down the road, oh gosh, I would say 25 years later, we're at this place at greatest place for wings. Our Gang in Sharon, PA. The best wings you're ever going to have in your life. You ain't going to get no place better. Anyways, so we're sitting there. We go in there and have wings with a friend that I worked with, and we go there and we're eating wings and stuff. And he left, and we were walking out, and the friend that got us together, she was there. I was like, holy crap! Out of a little small place, little wing bar place, man. I was like, oh my God! We ran into her. She was going to get married. She divorced her first husband and introduced her to her fiance and everything. And she goes, I thought you were divorced. You guys were divorced. We're like, no. Her sister probably told her, oh yeah, they divorced, Probably still trying to cause problems. She was a big drama queen. Big drama queen. But her sisters were sweethearts. Just top of the line nice people. Great people. And I remember one time when I was over her house, when we were, when I lived at home, her mom says, you're going to make someone a good husband. And I was hoping at the time it was going to be her husband. And I will tell you, thank God that never happened. Jeez. Thank God. Thank the stars above. Thank everything that is holy, that path I never took that path with that broad. Some people might get mad because I use that name. That's exactly what she was. A broad. So, anyway. So shortly after that, my wife was still friends with her on Facebook. They were Facebook friends. And I think I was friends with her too. And shortly after that, boom, she unfriended us. So she probably went back to her sister, her broad sister, and told her, he says, no, they're still married. Oh, well, you know what he said about you? You know what he did to me? You know what he says about this person? More lies, more drama. and then she probably believed her, and then just unfriended everybody. Didn't want nothing to do. I was like, that's fine. But my wife does still see her. She comes into where my wife works, and she's nice and everything, but she's not friends on Facebook. That's fine. But she is a beautiful, beautiful person. Both sisters are beautiful, but I don't know what happened with this one, man. I don't know what happened with this one. But thank God I never got that. But I told my wife about her mom saying that about me, and she says, yes, you are. I was like, holy crap. I try to be, man. I try to be. But anyways, so that's my story. You know, I got, man, did she used the hell out of me. Man, I just hope I never. I think if I ever seen her again, I'd probably just walk around. I'd probably just ignore her. You know, I'll tell my wife, you know, go out to the car. This might get ugly. I might spend some time in jail. Not that I would care; it'd be worth it. But yeah, don't get caught up into something, emotions, and someone that isn't going to give you the time of day, and you know, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. I thank God I never ended up with her. So there you go. I'm done. I will see you in the next video. Moosehead Beer, man. I haven't established in 1847. Yeah, year I was born. Or 1867. Oh, a little bit off. So there you go. I'll see you in the next story. Cheers.